Welcome back from the short break. You're still watching Sunrise at Sea right here on CTV. And we are still in our views segment. And if you want to be a part of this conversation, because we would love, really love to hear what you have to say. It's not just about our views, it's about your views as well. If you want to be a part of this conversation, please go to our social media, and that is Twitter, and that is at CTV Uganda. Leave your comment, and please don't forget to use the hashtag CTV Sunrise. And now let's go into our next dilemma, our next situation right here on our views. And it comes in from another lady called Martha, not the first Martha. This is, this is a different Martha. I just want to make it clear. So this Martha says, she says, "Hi Sunrise at Sea. My name is Martha. I'm 28 years old, and since the COVID-19 pandemic, life has been very difficult for me and my family. My father lost his job, and my mother has always been a housewife. Since the lockdown, we have been surviving on selling charcoal and banana leaves, which doesn't bring in enough money to financially take care of the family. However, I came across an article online which was talking about surrogacy, and I am seriously thinking of becoming a surrogate. The article said that a woman who carries another person's child can earn up to 13 million Uganda shillings. She says, that money can really help my family. I would do anything for my family. I am desperate. Please advise and thank you." Ladies, please dive into the deep end with me. Should she do it? Is she being too hasty? Should she do it? I'm confused.
Yeah, she should. I think she should do it. One, because of the pandemic, I feel like so many people have been struggling. Yeah. And by the time she's thinking of this option, yeah, I think it's a last thing on her mind. I'm sure maybe her parents have tried what they could, and she was like, you know what? Charcoal is not really going to feed us for I don't know how long. Yeah, so I think she should do it. However, she should maybe do research, yeah, and find out what it takes to do surrogacy, the pros and cons, yeah. And if she's to do it, she has to go to a professional, a professional person to actually do this. So I think with me, it's let her do it. Okay. Let her do it, let her get the money, because 13 million is a lot of money. It can literally change your livelihood. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. If I was Martha, I would definitely get the 13 million. I would go do it.
Well, surrogacy, the definition of surrogacy, it's an arrangement where a woman agrees to carry a pregnancy for another person who will or become the actual parent of the child that she is carrying.
Yeah.
And there are two types of surrogacy.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I would like to hear from you, Sandra.
I think she's not responsible for her parents. As a parent, I'm responsible for my children.
Pressures of adulting.
Yes. I'm the one responsible for my children. I would not expect my son to go and get a job. And for a boy, it's different. But for a woman, and she's 28 years old.
How is it different for a boy, Sandra?
I will say this in this context. I'm saying in this context because a boy cannot go and be a surrogate. You know what I mean? He can be a donor, but not a surrogate. So what I am saying it's different in this context is that you're going to be pregnant. And it's not easy being pregnant. It takes a toll on you. I have been pregnant 3 times. And I know each pregnancy has been different. It takes a toll on you physically and emotionally as well, during and even after. Yeah, it's not easy. And this is your child. Yeah, and you get to keep your child. So imagine going through all this, because you go through all these emotions when you're pregnant, and then you have this baby, and you have to give away the baby, and the different kinds of surrogacy, which is Sarah is going to hint on, it depends what surrogacy is she opting for. Because if the gestational one is when they just implant the embryo into the lady,
yes,
but the egg and the sperm is for the intended parents.
Yeah.
But the traditional one is that she gets artificially inseminated, so the egg is hers. This is your baby that you're going to give away.
That's the genetic surrogacy.
Yes. Yeah. And so which is it? And I'll tell you something, even if it's not your baby biologically, it's so hard to give away a child you have carried for 9 months. You feel it's your baby.
Emotions
You know
are
what I mean?
involved
And
in
then
that
there are
process.
also the complications of pregnancy. Yeah, you get complications. Yeah?
Yeah.
There is that as well. Pregnancy is not a walk in the park. Even giving birth itself, you can easily lose your life. We have seen the maternal mortality rate.
Yes.
Yeah, because of all these complications.
Yes.
Yeah, so she has to consider all these things. She's just 28 years old. She has never been pregnant before. She knows nothing about pregnancy. I feel that is like a stretch for me. I don't think she should do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on the part of surrogacy, getting emotionally attached to the pregnancy.
Yeah.
Okay, during the pregnancy, you can definitely
Get attached.
Get attached to it
Even
in a
after,
way.
actually.
But this is the thing: when you do have the child, you're not allowed to see the child. You're not allowed to even have a natural birth, a vaginal, a birth.
Oh.
You get a C-section and the baby is taken away from you. You don't get to see the baby.
Does that
you
depend
don't
on
get
the
to
terms and conditions?
No, you
or-
don't get to see the baby. You don't get to hold the baby because the baby is not yours.
Oh.
Can
See,
you
but now
imagine?
that's what we don't think about. First of all, at the age of 28, don't you think you're a bit too young to be wanting to support your family? Okay, not maybe too young, but that burden shouldn't be on you. It goes back to the conversation that we had about pressures of adulting. But yet again, yes, you want the money. I mean, people have gone to the extent of selling their livers and their kidneys. Next thing I know, we're going to start selling our brains for money. But
That's extreme.
but that is where we're going. But we need to look, you need to weigh your options. One, there are complications. Two, let me tell you something. When you have carried a child for all those months, I have never carried a child, but I have seen different parents and how they are attached to their children and giving up that child. There's so many things you have to put into consideration. Because when time comes to giving up that baby that you have produced, there are going to be emotions attached. And that is the problem with surrogacy. There's so many negative side effects to it. One, you may change your mind. Yes, you might want to do it now for the money. But what happens when you change your mind? Then what? Two, you could get complications like what you talked about. So when you get complications, who is going to cater for that? Still, it's going to fall on the side of your parents. But also, you need to get the information right. And I must point this out, that it's quite... I was reading the statistics on surrogacy in Uganda, and almost 4,000 women in Uganda are actually surrogates for some couples. It's amazing.
That makes sense.
It's
Sometimes you see
amazing.
people who are pregnant
Because,
and
yes,
you don't see
you
their
see
baby.
someone
Yeah.
pregnant about 8 months ago, and then, where is the baby? I was just carrying it for someone. And they're so okay. Have you thought about the emotion? She needs to sit down and think about the emotional pain that she's going to go through, the psychological trauma she's going to go through after knowing that I gave up my child for someone else. Okay, fine. Maybe it is out of goodwill, I might understand that. But again, are you thinking about the child? Also, you must do your survey. And especially if the egg is yours, if it is your child that you're giving away, you want to give it to a family that you know will take care of your child the way you would. Don't just randomly go and give birth to your child and just give it out to any Tom, Dick and Harry family, because they might not give it the best attention you would have. But also,
Well,
it
that
goes back to
research.
yeah,
you
it's
know.
also vice versa. For those that want surrogates, you need to do your research. You need to go back to their health history. Does the person have HIV/AIDS? Are they diabetic? Are they asthmatic? What is their blood type? All this information you need
that's
to know.
the thing is that is not your job to know. It's the doctors who are supposed to do all that research for you and actually find somebody who is suitable to carry the child for you. But also, you do get compensated even if you do miscarry the child for a surrogate intended parent. And you do miscarry. That is why surrogacy is an agreement. You have to sign, and everything in the contract, there are terms and conditions. So whether you carry the child to full term or not, or whether you miscarry or not, everything you are compensated.
But how many people know that information?
This is the thing.
Not very many
This
people
is the-
know that you're supposed to sign.
This is the thing. You are supposed to sign unless Kira comes to me and says, you know what, Sarah, can you please carry for me my baby? But the safest way is to do it with the assistance of a fertility clinic or hospital, because they are the ones who will help you put the procedure together and in place, and also give you counseling is very mandatory, and they also explain the contract to you. It's also very important for you to have a lawyer present with you when you are, you know, going through about this process. It was really difficult for me to find somebody to come and speak on this matter, because I really wanted to have a surrogate with us. Surrogate with us, or somebody who had used a surrogate before, but no one was really comfortable, and not people are really comfortable to talk about it. And even getting comments from the fertility doctors and obstetricians and gynecologists was a bit difficult. There was a lot of, you know, pull and tear, which leads me to wonder, why is this such a taboo to talk about? And another thing is that Uganda has no surrogacy, no bill on surrogacy. And actually, that is woman MP for Tororo, that is my namesake, Sarah Opendi, did take leave from Parliament to be able to introduce the surrogacy bill, because the doctors that I spoke to did say that the biggest problem that they face is regulating it, and also holding somebody accountable to it, because there are instances where an intended, that's what they call them, parents who want to use a surrogate, come and they go about the whole procedure, but now when the child is delivered, they don't come and get the child.
Oh my gosh.
And since there are no laws, you can't really sue somebody properly in court for that. So now the child becomes the responsibility
of this other family,
of the hospital. Because it is not my child either, me being the surrogate. It's not my child either. So it becomes the responsibility of the fertility clinic or the hospital. And that is actually a very, very big problem.
It is.
So a number of members of parliament did weigh in on their opinions. And Dokolo woman MP, that is Cecilia Ogwal, said she questioned if surrogacy will not cause a huge storm. And she said, as a traditionalist, she feels that this may go against culture. This is why I asked the question, why is it so taboo for us to openly talk about infertility in public? Because it's difficult.
Because even
Why
even
is
our
it so?
society,
It's
our
just-
African
it's
culture
new,
is
something-
unheard of. Like,
What do you mean is unheard of?
It was unheard of then, because when you go back down all the way to 8 years, it was unheard of for someone else to carry another person's child. So even when you cannot come out, very few people, like you said, it was hard for you to get a surrogate.
But that is not
Very
true.
few people-
Polygamy comes in place to deal with situations like this. And I think it's why African society opted for polygamy, because there probably were women who are unable to have children.
Just like what we
so
talked about
polygamy
yesterday,
had solved that situation. So why are we not comfortable openly talking about surrogacy?
I think we are not comfortable talking about surrogacy because I think, first of all, if a couple is not able to have children, that means they're having some complications, of course, with fertility issues. And I would say this in ATS, African Traditional Society, they used to think it's the woman. That's why they would get another woman, But later on, we got to find out that it could be the man.
Yes.
Now, this for men, I think it's quite an issue because it's their ego is like, no man wants to
be told
that you're impotent.
Yes.
You know, they don't want to have that conversation because that is synonymous with their stature as a man in society. It's just like, if I'm not able to provide, if I'm not able to sire children, I am not a man. That's how they look at it. So that's why they are so uncomfortable talking about, the surrogacy or being able to do that.
Get somewhere you carry the kid.
Yes.
Well, somebody to carry their kid.
yes.
Maybe they are not able to make this woman pregnant. So they don't want to go that
And
big.
just look
criticized,
bad.
And just look bad because they want to think it's the woman who can't carry.
Yes, I want to read just something here. I did get a lady who was willing to talk to me, however, she wanted to stay anonymous. She did say that surrogacy in Uganda costs from about $12,000 to $20,000 US. That's how much she said it costs to get the procedure done, because she used a surrogate to help her carry her children
Okay.
because she had gone and tried many times using IVF and it was very unsuccessful. So the doctor did suggest her using a surrogate, and her husband discussed it and they were comfortable doing that. And she does give advice to somebody who wants to become a surrogate. She said that, and this is what she wanted me to say to Martha, that, and I quote, she said, "You are performing a miracle for a couple, and that is something that is very beautiful."
Very true.
That is what she said.
Yes.
That is what she wanted to say to Martha, that you are helping somebody who is not able to have children, and that is absolutely beautiful. Let's get into some comments that you had to say on our social media. And our first comment comes in from Daniel Echwalu, and he says, "Do background checks before you get to engage in surrogacy. Most people take advantage of you being in a desperate situation. Take baby steps and go slow." Our next tweet comes in from Harmony_K256, and she says, "Pregnancy is a very emotional journey, and I wish you got a chance to experience it in a better way with a loving partner. However, helping a family enjoy their experience of raising a child is also very noble of you. My advice is to make sure you are emotionally ready to detach after birth." And our last tweet comes in from Vicky, and she's replying to us. And she says, "It is an option, however, not the best there is. At the start, it may come off as quick money. However, many find challenges as the journey goes on. Attachment issues, custody, privileges, among others. I recommend considering other income generating options." And then she goes on to say, #CTV at Sunrise. Exactly. So the issue about surrogacy is not one that you can just rush into. I mean, there are many examples of celebrities who have used surrogates. And I just want to give an example of Angela Bassett. And she said, I quote, "I was devastated when it didn't happen again and again, and I had to remain hopeful and resilient and say to myself, okay, let's do it again." Eventually, her and her husband welcomed their twins in 2016. And she said that the more we learned about it, the more we began to think that perhaps this was an answer for us. And Angela and her husband were able to have, children.
That's really
Yes,
that's
they had
good.
struggled for a very,
Yeah.
very long time, and she reveals this actually in her book. You can look it up and you can just read her whole surrogacy story. Another very popular actress that we know of is Gabrielle Union, and she said for her, having to accept a surrogate made her feel less than.
Of a woman.
Of a woman, because she wanted to experience pregnancy, and she said, "I wanted to watch my body expand and shift to accommodate this miracle inside me. I also wanted the experience of being publicly pregnant." So her and her husband later, welcomed their little bundle of joy back in 2019. We all know her.
Yes.
We all love to use her as a meme.
Expressions always kill me.
So anyway, she went on to say, "I would shake off the distrust society has for women who, for whatever reason, by choice or by nature, do not have babies. I had paid the cost of that for years, and I wanted something for it." And then it was actually her husband who suggested it and convinced her, but she said it took a lot of convincing because she wanted to carry the child herself. She has a condition that does not allow her to carry a child, and she said that she suffered so many miscarriages, too many that she's even embarrassed to say out loud.
Oh my God.
So closing remarks, Sandra. What should Martha do?
Martha, do not be a surrogate. You're still too young to go into, well, they are younger mothers, but this will take a toll on you. There's so many other factors you have to consider, like we say, that attachment, and also there's postnatal depression. Now imagine going through that depression and your baby is nowhere to be seen as well. And postnatal care. If you're going to have a C-section, my dear, that is not to be played around with. You can have other complications altogether. And you're not responsible for your parents. You're not responsible for your parents. Think outside the box. Yeah, think outside the box, see what else you can do to support your family, work as a team. Don't hold all those burdens on your shoulder for your parents, yeah? Work as a team, see what you can do, and I'm sure you can find a solution. I mean, this pandemic has made people jacks and jills of all trades, yeah? So think outside the box and see what happens.
Well, there you had it, Martha, and I hope we were able to help you. We agree, I believe, that this is too rush of a decision for you to make.
Very true.
Being a surrogate is a huge responsibility, although it may be, you know,
A good
an
thing
easy
to
payout in one way or the other, because I mean, even if it was just 13 million Uganda shilling, that would be a lot. That's a easy fix, but it doesn't really fix the underlying problems that may follow it. So Martha, I hope we were able to help you. And that wraps up our segment of Our Views. Keep watching Sunrise at Sea. Do not blink. Well, I hope you had a great time with us right here at Sunrise at Sea from the beginning of the show to the end. I had a really great time.
We did.
Yes. Shivan shared how you can make, you know, rainbow fruit skewers.
Yes, and
you know?
indeed, that's true. Special thanks to Fairway Hotel. We do appreciate you for allowing us to use your space.
Absolutely.
And we did such an amazing job. I do hope that you're able to pick a thing or two that you can actually cook with your kids.
Yes.
I did.
Next time, I will be cooking with Sarah's little boy.
Absolutely. So there you had it. Meet us again here tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on CTV from 7 a.m. all the way until 9 a.m. Please don't forget to be kind, you know, be our darling today. And also don't forget to wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands. And if you have not yet gotten vaccinated, please go ahead and get vaccinated. For me and the family right here at Sunrise at Sea, have a blessed day. Bye-bye.